Rarely do we see overnight successes, right? Usually success comes one step at a time. It's the same with our spiritual life as it is with our success in the workplace or our family or anything else we do. Let's talk about it in your morning cup of inspiration. Years ago, I worked with a guy who used to be on the power team. If you've never heard of the power team, it was a group of strong men who went around to different churches, and many people would come in because they did these incredible feats of strength. They'd lift telephone poles over their head, or they'd break a bunch of bricks, or they'd rip phone books in half and those kind of things. And then they shared their testimony and led people to the Lord. Where I asked him one day about how do you rip those phone books apart? And he showed me. You can have a thick phone book, but what they would do, they would fold it, and then they would begin ripping at the fold. And what was literally happening, they were not ripping 500 pages at once. It was folded a little bit, and as they began to rip, they were ripping multiple pages as they went along and slowly began to break that telephone book in half. And that's the way it is with our lives. So many times we want overnight success. So many times we want to just rip that phone book in half, but we don't have the power and the strength to do that. We have to rip it a few pages at a time. And that's how God has set up and directed our lives, a step at a time. We don't even many times get to see the whole picture. He just wants us to keep ripping that page. He wants us to keep taking that step. Listen to what it says in Proverbs 16:9. It says, "A man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps." It's the Lord doing it. And then over in Psalms 37:23-24, it says, "The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delights in his way. Though he fall, he shall not be utterly cast down, for the Lord upholds him with his hands." So he guides our steps. We may fall, we may stumble. He's right there to lift us back up. So don't get overwhelmed if you're not feeling successful today. If you're on the journey, if you're taking that step one at a time, listening to the Lord's voice, you are moving towards success. One day, you will have that phone book ripped in two. It just takes a page at a time. God bless. Thanks for joining me for that morning cup of inspiration, and we'll see you next time.